Good evening, and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District's meeting of the Board of Trustees. Whether you are here to address the board or to celebrate the accomplishments of those being honored here this evening, we appreciate that you have taken the time to join us. We invite you to share your comments with the board during the public comment portion of our meeting. The public comment sign-up cards show the rules for participating. Legally, the board may listen but may not enter into discussion on the issue raised. In addition to a printout of the board agenda, also on the sign-up table is a corrected notice that has been posted on the YISD bulletin board and the board website showing that the deadline for filing as a candidate for the upcoming trustee election is February 15th, 2019. We remind everyone that this is a board meeting often attended by students and ask that we all conduct ourselves in a manner that best represents the values and traditions of the Ysleta Independent School District. Please turn off or silence all cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices, and thank you for your attendance. This meeting of the Board of Trustees is called to order at 6:05 p.m. We have a quorum with Sotero Ramirez, Cruz Ochoa, Catherine Luceto, Mike Rosales, and myself, Connie Woodruff. Richard Cudier was unable to attend. Charlie Bustillos is running late. It is my pleasure to introduce our Bel Air High School JROTC. The colors tonight are being presented by the Junior ROTC Color Guard from Bel Air High School. The Color Guard commander is Reagan Garcia. The other Color Guard members are Yaritzi Villarreal, Giselle Castro, and Raquel Hernandez. Performing the national anthem and leading us in the pledge is Ashley Villegas Mejia, a 7th grader from Bel Air Middle School. Will you please stand for the presentation of the colors, reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence. Please remain standing until the cadets have departed.
Forward, march, left, right, left, carry, others.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we watched were still gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now please join me in the pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Dr. Delatorre, do we have recognitions and introductions?
Yes, President Woodruff, members of the board, Ms. Ayala, our Chief Communications Officer, will lead in our recognitions and introductions.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent De La Torre. We have one recognition for you this evening. At this time, we ask if you could please come to the front of the dais for the presentation. We also ask audience members to remain seated until the recognition is complete. This month's President's Award winner cannot be with us tonight, so we will reschedule her recognition for next month's board meeting. Our recognition tonight is in honor of Read Across America Day, an annual event sponsored by the National Education Association that encourages a love of reading among children of all ages. The day commemorates the birthday of beloved children's author, Dr. Seuss, and is normally celebrated at schools by bringing in a variety of community guest readers to share their favorite books. This year, the Ysleta Teachers Association and the Elementary Education Department have collaborated to make this day a truly special event at our schools. Leadership teams at every elementary and K-8 campus will receive a variety of items to celebrate Read Across America on Friday, March 1st, including several Dr. Seuss-themed incentives to promote reading. At this time, I would like to invite the president of the Ysleta Teachers Association to the podium to share a few words. Please give a round of applause to our YTA president, Ms. Arlinda Valencia.
Thank you and good evening. It's a pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of the Ysleta Teachers Association. First, I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees, Dr. De La Torre, and Ms. Diane Flores, Director of Elementary Education, for their support and collaboration with YTA to make Read Across America a success in all our campuses. Instead of simply describing the exciting atmosphere at schools during Read Across America, I'd like to extend a personal invitation to each of the trustees and Dr. De La Torre to be guest speakers at one of the schools on March 1st and witness firsthand the children's enthusiasm for all things Dr. Seuss. I also encourage everyone from Ysleta ISD to join us as guest readers during a special YTA Day event on Saturday, March 2nd at Barnes & Noble at the Fountains. We hope to see you there. As part of YTA's collaboration with YISD, our teachers will now present each trustee and the superintendent with a basket of books and other materials to celebrate and promote the love of reading at your Read Across America event. Presenting the basket to the superintendent, Ms. Lee Terrazas. For the Hanks Learning Community, Ms. Liz Torres. For the Del Valle Learning Community, Ms. Margarita Riola. For the Eastwood Learning Community, Ms. Maria Hernandez. For the Bel Air Learning Community, Mr. Gary Woodruff. For the Ysleta Learning Community, Ms. Leticia Grijalva. For the Parkland Learning Community, Ms. Heather Aguayo. Mr. Kadir could not be here, but she's going to stand in his place for right now. And the Riverside Learning Community, I know Mr. Bustillo's running late, so we'll go ahead and introduce Ms. Daniela Rosas Lea. Thank you. Let's hear it again. Oh, that's yours. Now we go. Let's go.
Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. Nice big smile. Three.
Let's hear it one more time for our teachers and trustees. Thank you. This concludes our recognitions.
Secretary Rosales, do we have requests for citizens' input?
Madam Chair, we did not at this time. Thank you.
We will begin the workshop with our internal auditor, Ms. Champagne.
Good evening, Madam President, all the board members, and Dr. De La Torre.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. Thank you very much.
I knew it was coming. The year of the hog.
Pig.
Oh, pig.
Yes, it's my year. I was born year of the pig. I was told those people who born year of the pig brings the fortune to the people around them. So you guys are all millionaire except me.
Very good. Do we have any questions for the internal auditor?
No, not at this time. Her package seems a lot clearer this time. So,
Do you have a compliment from the board?
so thank you very much for.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, everything's good, Champagne.
We
Thank you.
try. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Champagne.
Thank you.
Since you bring good luck, you are not excused.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Okay. We will begin the, do we have, no, okay. Moving on down. We will now review the consent agenda. Okay, so. Right here. Says we will now review the consent agenda. And we have to review. We review right now, correct? Yeah, okay. All right, if there's something that you have a question about, if you want to stop me as we go through, we'll start with consent item number 1, Board of Trustees Workshop and Board Meeting, January 16th. Number 2, Board of Trustees Superintendent Evaluation Meeting, January 23rd, 2019, 6 p.m. Monthly financial update for December 2018. Number 4, ratification of award of YISD contract number 201-90075 with New Mexico State University. Number 5, approval of award of YISD contract number 201-90103 with OMNIA Partners Public Sector.
Mr. Chair, I have a question, just a very brief question. What items are we talking about in this, with this cooperative?
Ms. Leeper?
Ms. Leeper, number 5.
Yes, sir. So you may recall that we enter into multiple cooperative agreements with other procurement companies like this. And this is a cooperative agreement where two big ones have merged, and so we just need a new agreement with the newly formed entity. And it creates purchasing power because it gives us access with other governmental entities.
So this, what item, this is the question I have. Is this furniture, cars, trucks?
It's access to anything that these entities procure. So it could be supplies, it could be vehicles, it could be furniture, anything that's on the cooperative where multiple entities have joined together to combine their purchasing power, whatever they want to purchase.
So it gives us an edge on the pricing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to consent item number 6, ratification award of YISD contract number 201-90128 with University of Texas at El Paso. Consent item number 7, 2019-2020 instructional calendar.
They say something on that?
Yes.
I was looking at the calendar, and I think a lot of work and thought went into it. But I like also the fact that in January, you have that holiday exchange where the teachers that allow them to use that to extend their holidays. So I think that's a good idea, very good, because they need a break. But anyway, I just thought that a lot of work went into that, and I commend everybody that put there a lot of thought, and I know there's a lot more going on that shows on this calendar, but we appreciate that you come up with such a good plan for next year, so thank you very much.
I have a question about the calendar, and I think I already know the answer, but when you go through the first semester, the second 9 weeks actually only has 7 weeks in it. And I've had a couple of teachers that have commented on how that is very difficult for them to give a 6 weeks test and then move right in the very next week into giving their finals. But I believe the answer is that we cannot start any sooner than August 26th. I'm correct about that.
The fourth Monday of August.
The fourth Monday. So it's not the date, it's the Monday. So we've put it back as far as we can.
Without applying for and being named a district
Of innovation.
And then that would allow us to do, I think, what the El Paso Independent School District has done, and that is
Start about 2 weeks. 2 weeks
before us.
early. Yeah, they started 2 weeks early.
And if
No?
1 week, oh, don't do it.
She's saying, don't do it. No, I'm pretty sure that nobody would be thrilled with that feeling. So, but that was just my question, just to make sure, because I know some of the teachers have asked me, how is it that we do this, and 6 weeks tests, and mostly this is the high school, because they do their final exams, in the 7th week, so.
Yes, ma'am. We had a great conversation at the district, the DEIC meeting, where we got input from all the teachers and had a lot of conversation. And there always is, how come there's so few days up front and so many in the second semester? But also what we reminded the teachers, there's so many testing days that second semester.
Right.
The instructional days come
Right.
pretty close to balancing one another. But the teachers had a lot of input, a lot of great feedback for us.
Well, then my only other comment would be that last week, when Christmas is already in full swing and kids are ready to go party and do all their thing, we might need to consider making that a dead week, because they still have to give their final exams, and I know it's like holding on to a wild horse, but I don't know how that works out that good when the kids have to, they're involved in all the parties and all the fun, but they're not engaged in their final exams, which are extremely important, so.
And then you balance, you're exactly right. Does the last week turn into a party week, and then you lose 4 days of instruction? Then do they come to class? They'll start vacation a week earlier. So yes, ma'am, you're exactly correct.
Okay.
So
So
Remember,
maybe,
and the big thing too, in the old days, you had to have 177 days of instruction, and now they've gone to minutes.
right,
You got to have the 75,600 minutes a year. And the
Right.
state doesn't care how you divide that into how many days. So
okay,
just some information.
okay. Thank you very much. And that's all of the consent agenda. Right? Yeah, okay, so now we need to go back. The order of business shall be set out in this posted agenda unless changed by the consensus of the board. Are there any items you would like to pull off the consent agenda for a separate vote? Thank you. The agenda will be considered the consensus of the board. The order of the agenda has been approved. May I have an electronic motion and second on the consent agenda items listed on this agenda as recommended by administration?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda items listed on this agenda as recommended by the administration.
We have a second by Mr. Rosales. And that's approved 5-0. Going on to our action items. Action item number 1, update for application of district class size waiver. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion?
Have one.
Okay, go ahead and press your electronic electronic hand, and Mr. Ramirez, go ahead.
I was visiting with some of our fellow trustees in other districts last week or this week, whenever it was, and I was told, and this question is for Dr. Ysleta, is they've been told in their district, the teachers have been told that they're going to have a minimum of 25 students in all classrooms to include dual credit and AP. I was just curious if you had heard anything about that discussion, and is that something we would ever consider doing in the district as well?
I know it hasn't been a discussion in this district. I think Bobby can respond to what's out there.
The practice throughout the state is to rise to a level of 25-1 for grade levels 5 and above. Our district, we've maintained it at 22-1 for our elementaries. We do get a little higher for 5th and 6th grade, but none of our classrooms should go over 24-1. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that all of our students get time with their teacher, they get adequate instruction, and the more students you put in a classroom, the less instruction that's going to take place.
Okay, and I'm very supportive of that. Ms. Rosales and myself had a chance to visit the student showcase, and talking to the students, especially those students who have only been in our schools for 3 or 4 years, they said that there were the 2 key things were one, having books in hand, the right books in hand, and the second thing was having the right teacher in place to help expedite that learning. So I agree.
Thank you.
Mr. Ochoa.
Yes, so you assured me that it's only going to be 24-1?
Yes, that's what our staffing ratio is for this year for secondary.
Okay.
Now, for the waiver that's on the board agenda, those classrooms, they're only over by 1. There's 3 classrooms. And so that would take the classroom to 23 students.
Okay.
And if the teacher does feel the need that they need additional assistance, then we send a substitute to the classroom while the class is over the ratio.
Okay. It's only, I know this is what, elementary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In middle school, I was made aware by a parent that there's some, this is maybe not, but we're talking about exceeding classroom sizes. They have an AP class, social studies or history, that's 40 students in there.
If you and I talk and you tell me which campus that is, I will make sure to correct that.
All right. Yes, because that's too much.
Unacceptable.
I mean,
We'll get it corrected.
It's unacceptable. Okay.
Yeah, sure, my pleasure.
Okay, moving on to the action item. Oh, no, I'm sorry, go back. If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move to update the application for class size waivers from TEA to allow certain K-4 classes to exceed the 22-to-1 ratio and inform where waivers are no longer needed.
We have a second by Connie Woodruff. And that's approved 5-0. Action item number 2, ratification of award of change order number 3 to YISD contract number 201-70424 with Arrow Building Corporation. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion? Okay, all right, Mr. Ochoa.
Yes. This is about the sprinkler systems at Hanks High School. Is this the change order that's going to be? Okay. And is that going to cause any more, can I say,
I think that the,
interference with the classrooms as they walk through the hallways?
Mr. Ochoa, all the ceilings have been closed up. They've been operational since day one. So no, sir, will not interfere with anything with the students in the hallways.
Okay, so.
We're good to go.
Okay, because when we had the construction on the roof, that was a big distraction.
Yes, sir, they went through a year.
Yes,
with
they
the
went through a year. I
exposed
just don't
ceiling.
want to put them again through that again.
No, sir. We started the school year with the ceilings enclosed. The sprinklers were all operational. We were good to go from day
Okay,
one.
well, good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion?
I move to ratify the award of change order number 3 to YISD contract number 201-70424 with Arrow Building Corporation for changes to closets and fire sprinklers per fire department requirements for the Hanks High School upgrades and alterations projects in the amount of $84,813.08 from local funds.
We have a second by Catherine Lucetto. And that's approved 5-0. Action item number 3, approval of award of cooperative requisition Parkland High School furniture. Using your electronic hand, is there any discussion? If there's no further discussion, oh, sorry. Mr. Ramirez.
I'd just like to thank Dr. Lestorre and the rest of the district for the furniture. You know better than I do, but our schools love it when they get new furniture, and it just seems like it changes the attitude and everything in the schools and the classrooms. So I'm real excited about this, and that's hopefully we're able to continue with this going forward.
Good. Go ahead and.
What is it? What the contingent upon Form 1295, is that just a formality, or what does that mean?
So yes, those are just formalities. Every vendor that does business with the district has to file various forms disclosing conflicts of interest, things like that.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, may I have a motion? It's still not.
I thought I had it. Madam Chair, I move to approve award of YISD cooperative requisitions for Parkland High School with Meteor Education for the purchase of furniture for an amount not to exceed $282,000 from bond funds through a purchase cooperative contingent upon Form 11295 certificate of interested parties.
We have a second by Ms. Lucetto. That's approved 5-0.
There you go.
The Board of Trustees has determined that a closed meeting of the Board of Trustees is required to discuss the items set forth in the posted agenda for the state. Such closed meeting is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.001, including but not limited to the sections and purposes covered by the following section of the Texas Government Code: 551.071, 72, 73, 74, 76, 82, 821, 83, and 84. Should any final action, decision, or vote be required with regard to any matter considered in closed session, the final action, decision, or vote shall be in the open meeting or at a subsequent public meeting with notice. The board will now move to the Rio Grande Room for closed session at 6:36 p.m. gosh. At 7:35 with the following present: Sotero Metis, Cruz Ochoa, Catherine Luceto, Mike Rosales, and myself, Connie Woodruff. Action item after closed session. Consider and take possible action regarding options for resolution of litigation in Walker versus YSD, cause number 2017 DCV 1728. May I have a motion?
I move to authorize administration and legal counsel to attempt to resolve this issue as discussed in closed session.
And the second is by Connie Woodruff. It's approved, 4 yeses and 1 no. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I so move to adjourn.
Yeah, that was really.